Do 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 do. Somewhere beneath the sea, somewhere there's a game for me. Oh, I would have loved to play it if I only had a 360. But what luck, it's now on the PS3 with even an additional level of difficulty. Okay, up until the end, I think I was pretty good there, but I don't know what people think. Now Bioshock's been out for a while. I imagine a lot of people who are even looking at this probably even played it by now, but it originally came out on the 360, then a year later it came to the PS3 with a survivor difficulty, whereas it was just the max difficulty on the 360 version was just hard, so good things come to those who are patient, although debatably the graphics were kind of nerfed for the PS3 version. However, it also came out for the PC, so I could have played it back when it was just the 360 and PC, but my PC has never been up to anything like that, and I'd probably have to get a better graphics card. Which I'm not doing. But, yeah, incredibly cool game. For people not familiar with the story, you happen to be the survivor, the sole survivor of a plane crash, which just happens to land on some island with a seeming lighthouse. Of course, it's not just an island with a lighthouse, because deep below, there's a little raft, a bathysphere, whatever it's called, that leads you to the underwater city of Rapture, during which the entire trip you hear a little speech from Andrew Ryan, the creator of Rapture, who was loosely based on Ayn Rand, as I understand, a conservative author, and it details how people are going to this city to escape from persecution from government, from communism and religion and so forth, and then of course things went back crap, and the entire city is basically in ruins with crazy looking people running all around, these bizarre mutants that were gradually went insane as their plasmids took over and so forth. Because if you don't have a constant supply of a little mineral called Atom, your plasmids, which let you use all sorts of kooky, crazy abilities, just degrades the mind. Now, in this, to get more Atom, you have to either rescue or harvest little sisters, which wouldn't be a problem if they didn't have big daddies with them, which are giant machine-like men with various weapons and usually drills or something in the arms. Now, I was really enthusiastic about this game for several reasons. I mean, obviously I like all these dystopian settings and so forth, but the undersea settings really did it for me too. It's a great looking game, although everything looks a little bit too bright when you're actually in the city. When you see all the underwater scenes, things really look hot, but as soon as the lighting starts to show, a lot of the stuff looks too rounded and generic. But of course, I also like the eponymous Big Daddies who wander around these huge diver suits, which I just thought was an incredibly cool looking touch. But as soon as you get off your little bathysphere in Rapture, a nice man named Atlas contacts you over the radio and asks for your assistance in helping his wife and children, who are currently locked on a sub somewhere. And then, of course, so you all can escape from Rapture, but of course things don't go smoothly, and then eventually you have to end up going against the creator of Rapture, Andrew Ryan, and well, just general stuff. But now, although I really like the setting and stuff, as I mentioned before, I guess the one thing that kind of made this game a little off to me was the whole plasmid system. But plasmids are these little things which originally were derived from like sea slugs or something, which let you use incredible abilities, such as you're able to just shoot ice and even create a flame with a snap of your fingers and so forth. Which, I mean, are really cool abilities and stuff, but within the context of this whole thing, I thought were kind of crazy. Although I understand that it was also an excuse for why everything just went to crap down there. Although there is also the whole conflict with smugglers and so forth, but there are lots of really cool characters in the game. Like you meet Sander Cohen, who's absolutely awesome. Bit of a jerk though, but other than that, he's really cool. He has a fascination and real fixation on bunny ears for some reason. Although he's not into the kind of bunnies that you see at the Playboy house. But you'll discover more about that later in the game. Actually, that whole stopover in Fort Bragg was probably my favorite part of the game, but in general, if you're playing with Vita Chambers enabled, there are these pods all over the place which sparkle lightning and stuff, and by walking by them, like if you die, you're automatically respawned to one of those. Now, you have to deactivate those, so you can't use them on the harder difficulties. Bleeding. But it really makes a lot of the stuff really crazy easy. The other thing that really nerfs the difficulty, even at the survivor levels, the fact that the game doesn't use checkpoints, instead it uses saves, which always nerfs difficulty a little, but especially in this case, because you can save basically anywhere. I think the only place you can't just save is like during the final boss battle, but like let's say you're fighting against some thugs, you can save while you're doing well. Then if you die, you just go back to that same thing. So even like when you're in the middle of a pitched out battle, you can be saving, then just reloading, and then just gradually take things down, which I thought was a little cheesy. Weapon selection is pretty decent. You have a pistol, machine gun, flamethrower, or actually it's a chemical thrower. Coolest one's like this electric chemical that you shoot out, which can stun things as well. Of course, it also includes a what do you call it, stuff like nitrogen or something, which freezes people, in addition to the standard napalm or whatever that burns them. You have a crossbow, which actually is impressively powerful, but kind of out of place. A shotgun, of course. And the grenade launcher, which again seems a little much for a society like this. I mean, I'd even be a little bit surprised that they're bringing guns down to this idyllic little society, but whatever. Gameplay is basically you're trying to get over through these various dilapidated places while fighting off legions and legions of mutated splicers. And every now and again you're trying to either kill a big daddy to rescue the little sister or harvest the little sister, which gives you more energy, but it'll get you the bad ending eventually to the game. I of course like the fact that the game had actually three endings, but two of them were basically the same. Even if a lot of people think the endings themselves are a little bit cheesy, especially the good ending. I liked all three. I liked both the various endings, but the game controls pretty nicely. The only problem is it's just pretty easy to get killed on the really hard difficulty until you start really upgrading your stuff, and even then you can't like spend all your atom on various plasmids and stuff, because to get one of the trophies you have to like buy all these additional tonics. Tonics, of course, are I guess a kind of plasmid that instead of like letting you use a new ability, it'll just boost some other statistic, like it'll help you do more damage in combat or some other sort of a passive skill. I thought it was a pretty cool system. All in all, It's a great game. It's a pretty easy game to get a platinum trophy on the PS3 because you can do it in one playthrough, just going on survivor mode with no vita chambers. I really liked it, and I wish I could show you some like clips and stuff from the game itself. You can just Google them. I'm not really taking any chances with just YouTube's crazy reputation for just pulling crap down, suspending people for even tiniest infractions, but I might do some like playthroughs later, in which I guess I probably would show the actual video and then just assume that because it's a game guide you'd probably be safe, but that's for Bioshock. I liked it. I think the game's probably medium. This game's probably a 6 or 7, maybe an 8. But yeah, it actually has a sequel coming out soon, so I'd definitely suggest at least renting it, if nothing else.